Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Franklin College Football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. I'm Sean Herrick. Great to have you with us for what is a beautiful Saturday afternoon. If you were anywhere around the state of Indiana last night, you probably remember how nasty and rainy it was. Complete opposite here today. A mostly sunny sky, just under 60 degrees as we are moments away from kickoff between the Franklin College Grizzlies and the Bluffton University Beavers. Now, both of these teams come into the game today with a record of 2-3. Franklin is 0-2 in the conference, and it wasn't that long ago that they started 2-0. But since then, they have lost 3 in a row. They're coming off of a 28-14 loss to Mount St. Joseph. This is homecoming today for Franklin, so they'd love to be able to pay their fans off with a win on homecoming. For the Bluffton University Beavers, 2-3. They are 0-2 at home. They've won both of their games on the road, and here they are on the road again today. They're coming off a 32-20 win over Anderson, and they're scoring about 20 points a game, allowing 29. Franklin is scoring 26 points a game and allowing 30. Before we have more pregame coverage, we'll pause for the national anthem and bring it back in just a moment. You're watching Franklin College Football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem done by the Franklin Men's Chorus. So both these teams, again, a record of 2-3. Franklin is 1-2 at home, 1-1 on the road. Some other statistics about both these teams. Franklin's averaging 358 yards a game in total, 113 rushing and 246 passing. And they are giving up 412, 125 on the ground, 287 through the air. For Bluffton, they are averaging 81 rushing yards per game and 194 passing yards a contest for a total of 275 a game, so about almost 100 less than Franklin. They are giving up 360 yards a game in total, 123 on the ground, 237 through the air. One thing of note, it was not very windy about an hour ago, but the wind has really picked up and is blowing east, and with about about 20 miles an hour or so. So if the wind continues to be a problem, we might see both of these teams try to run the football a little bit more than maybe they normally would. The Franklin College Grizzlies, as is custom when they are at home, they are wearing their home blue jerseys, yellow numbers and letters, and Bluffton is in their white road jerseys with purple numbers and letters, purple stripes down the side of their uniforms. The starting lineups, first for the Franklin Grizzlies, will give you their offense. They are led by their quarterback, Dane Andrews, who is a sophomore, completing 57% of his passes for 1,065 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. His lead running back is Derek Thompson, who has 3 rushing touchdowns on the season. His wide receivers are Ryan Poole, Jarrett Gibson, and Dylan McKinney. Gibson is the leading receiver, 38 receptions, 513 yards, 5 touchdowns through the air. McKinney has 2 receiving touchdowns. The tight end is Oren Schmidt, who is a junior, 8 catches for him this season. The left tackle is Evan Jose. The left guard is Justin Case. The center is Thomas Witham. The right guard is Adam Fry. And the right tackle is Armani Christopher. Franklin's defense, made up of Jure Ohata, who has 6 sacks on the season as a sophomore defensive end. Okay, so Franklin just won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half, which means that Bluffton will get the ball to begin this one. Or actually, correction, it was Bluffton who deferred to the second half. Franklin is getting the ball first. So the defensive tackles are Owen Ogle and Tanner Swindle. Swindle has a sack with 4.5 tackles for loss this season, and the defensive end on the other side is Dante Darden, who has 2 sacks and 2 pass breakups to go along with his 11 tackles. The linebackers are Jason Pigg, Cody Wilkerson, and Aaron Black. Black with 31 tackles. Wilkerson leads in the tackle department with 39. The men in the secondary for Franklin are Wyatt Carmack, Evan Stombaugh, Nick Winders, and Cam Levers. Watch out for Winders. He's been outstanding in the secondary for Franklin this year with 8 pass breakups. The head coach for Franklin is Alan Hensel in his second season with Franklin, and he graduated from Franklin in 2005. For Bluffton, their place kicker is Jake Baumgardner, and he will be kicking off from the 35-yard line. Bluffton's offense is made up of their quarterback, Zach Nobis, running back Malik Tucker, tight end Drew Mace. The wide receivers are Zane Dine, Trey Cummings, and Andre Price. And on the offensive line, they go with Marcus Finley, Keon Nelson, Nick Myers, Hunter Lacer, and David Warfield. Their defense, on the defensive line, Brady Welker, Mitch Young, Marvis McWright, Dana Shoulders. The linebackers are Carl Foster, Loudon Saulbeamer, Nick Perry, and the men in the secondary are Devon Hedwood, Devon Wooden, Stefan Kosakowski, and Montez Archer. So, Baumgardner gets his right leg into this one. We are underway from Faught Stadium at Franklin. And that one is returned from just outside the 10-yard line for a nice return of about 23 yards. Well done by the Grizzlies' Derek Thompson, who we will see a lot of today. So pretty good starting field position for Franklin. They begin 1st and 10 from their own 31-yard line. Again, for those of you tuning in, it is Grizzlies in blue, Bluffton is in white. Both these teams 2 and 3, and really could use a win, especially Franklin. They have lost 3 in a row. It wasn't long ago they almost were about to go 3-0 for the first time in 15 years, but it just didn't work out for them. On 1st and 10, not much room to go. Thompson tried to get free, and he got walloped on the left side of that line by Carl Foster, and he had some help at the end by Loudon Saulbeamer. No gain, 2nd down and 10. And Franklin, as they like to do, they like to spread them out, and that's what they will do right here. The head coach for Bluffton, as Thompson again the carry. The head coach for Bluffton is Aaron Krebs. He's assisted by Devin Hill, Ethan Williams. Much better run that time for Thompson as he got to the 37-yard line, picking up 6. 3rd down and about 4. Feels like it's probably past time here for Dane Andrews. Andrews floats it out. Caught And he's got a first down. Nice move after the catch made by Elijah Carwin, the backup tight end, a sophomore, 6'4", 180 pounds from Greenville, went to Seymour High School, and gives Franklin a first down at the 42-yard line. Needed 4, got 5, moved the sticks. Andrews fakes to Thompson, pressure coming, gets it out of there, catch made, another first down for the Grizzlies. That's Devin Mueller. So to the tight end once, to the wide receiver this time, and into Bluffton territory goes Franklin to the Bluffton 47-yard line. That is a gain of 11. Andrews fires it down, he's got a man open, and from his backside, they're saying he made the catch. Of course, the Bluffton players saying he didn't, but Dylan McKinney had slipped and fallen down, but still was able to grab the football and make the catch at the Bluffton 26-yard line for a gain of 21. So plays of 5 yards, then 11, and now 21 have put Franklin at the Bluffton 26. And Andrews is saying, let's go, let's keep this going. Throws it out in the flat to Thompson. Thompson inside the 20 after he breaks off a tackle, still going down to the 13-yard line for a gain of 13. Boy, the Grizzlies are really moving right now, and unfortunately for Bluffton, they have a player that is down just inside the 20 at the 18-yard line, and because he is slumped over and now being huddled over by a trainer, can't quite tell who that is, but you hate to see an injury like this this early in the game, and you hope he is okay. We're in conference play now, so games mean a little bit more, playing for conference championships, a chance to get into the national tournament. Franklin is 0-2 in HCAC play so far. Bluffton is 1-1, and the man who is coming up, he's going to need some help getting up off the field for them, is Carl Foster, who's already been a very good contributor in this game for Bluffton. Everybody down to one knee, and he gets a nice ovation as he is helped off the field. So Franklin has moved the ball well down the field so far. They're going to have their 7th play of the drive coming up. They started from their own 31 with 14:55 on the clock after about a 23-yard return from Thompson. Set up pretty good field position. And here they are in the red zone. Man in motion, Winders. Thompson the carry. And Thompson knocked down at the 10 for a gain of 3. Good job on the tackle there for Bluffton by Marvis McWright. Second down and 7. They need the 4-yard line for the first down. And that would, if they get that, set up 1st and goal. Andrews not expecting the snap. It throws off the timing of the play. Andrews tries to take off and run, and he gets knocked down at the 10-yard line for no gain. So that's actually probably a blessing for Franklin that he was able to get back to the line of scrimmage, because he was clearly not expecting the snap to come from the center, Thomas, with him. But once it got there, he realized he had to make something out of nothing. So it's 3rd down and 7 for the Grizzlies at the Bluffton 10-yard line. Both teams make some substitutions here. Franklin bringing in Ryan Poole. Poole with just 1 catch so far this season. And Andrews looks like he wants to go Poole's direction. Can't do that. Takes off and runs again. And he gets smoked at the 7-yard line after taking off and running for a few yards. And after the play was over, some extracurricular activity, and a flag comes down. So big call here on 3rd down. If that play holds and it's 4th down, it'd be a short field goal try. But it all depends on Yep. Sometimes on 3rd down, if it's a holding penalty, you would want to decline it if you're the defense, but not in this case, because you want Franklin to move back And that just made third down and relatively manageable, third and much longer. And if you needed to settle for a field goal, that hurts your field goal try a little bit because now you're backed up further. So here we go. Franklin now has to play it from the 20-yard line as they lose 10 yards. So it is third down and 17. And they move in a lot of personnel. Dylan McKinney comes into the game. Also, so does Devin Mueller, who had a nice catch earlier on this drive. And the lead official telling the press box to put more time on the play clock. They do, and here we go on third and long. And a new quarterback in the game because Andrews had his helmet come off. He takes off and runs and throws to the end zone. It's caught, but he's out of bounds. Mueller made the catch, but he was out of room. So that was Spencer Wright, because Andrews lost his helmet on that play, and the rule is you have to come out for one play. So Andrews comes off the field. Wright comes on, throws a pass that was caught but out of bounds. And from 20-yard line, this is going to be a 37-yard field goal try. 37 yards for Derek Baldwin, the freshman kicker from St. John, Indiana. Snap is good. The hold is good. The kick heading towards the right upright, and he got it inside the upright. So that caps off what was a very nice 10-play drive there for Franklin. And Derek Baldwin converts what is a 37-yard field goal. Ten plays, 49 yards, and 3 minutes, 56 seconds off the clock for Franklin on their opening drive. They get a field goal out of it, and they go up 3-0 as they get ready to kick off once again. Now, it's interesting there because Carter Brown was listed as the place kicker at the top of the depth chart coming into the game, and he's made all 16 of his PATs, but they opted to go with Baldwin there on that PAT try, on that field goal try. Gabe Crutchfield is the kickoff specialist, so he has the ball on the 35-yard line where he'll kick off, ironically enough. He wears number 35, and it's a deep onside try, which Bluffton just says, we'll field it and take it right there. And the man who grabs it out of the air and fair catches it is Bishop Robertson, a 5'11 senior linebacker. So Bluffton gets outstanding field position out of this, and the holding penalty for Franklin comes back to bite them because they were in the red zone. Andrews had to come out for that play where his helmet came off. And it is 1st and 10 for Bluffton from their own 39-yard line. 10:59 on the clock, first quarter action. And we get our first look at the starting quarterback, Zach Nobis, a senior who has 4 touchdowns but also 4 interceptions this year. And Nobis throws it out in the flat, caught just outside the 40 and scampering ahead for a few yards out of that for Bluffton is Lorenz Johnson, a sophomore wide receiver from Huber Heights, Ohio. Gain of 6, second down and 4. The Franklin tackle made by Cody Wilkerson, and you're going to see him make a lot of plays in this game, as he's done every game so far this season. Inside handoff this time, and he ran into his own guy. Ran into his own offensive lineman. That brings up third down. The running back was Malik Tucker. And Tucker just ran into his own offensive lineman and got hit backwards to the 43. So he loses 2 yards, and that makes it third down and 6. That brings the Franklin crowd to its feet. Tucker moves to Nobis's right. Nobis with time. Now he has to run. He's got room. He's got the midfield stripe. First down. Well done there by the senior quarterback, who could feel the play breaking down and took off and ran and got the first down on a key third down and about 6. Tanner Swindle comes up and makes the tackle for Franklin. They give Bluffton, though, the Franklin 46-yard line. That is a gain of 11 yards. 9:20 left in the first quarter. Franklin 3, Bluffton nothing. Bluffton with their opening drive of the contest. Nova's saying, hey, come in motion here to one of his running backs. Gives to Tucker. Tucker stutter steps and gallops forward inside the 40 to the 39-yard line, picking up 7, second down and 3. Dante Darden there. Same thing with Tanner Swindle. Bluffton coming off a win against Anderson. Franklin coming off of a loss last week. Both these teams can certainly put up points. Almost movement. One guy almost moved in the neutral zone. Now somebody else. Yeah, he moved twice. Pretty easy call there for the official. Andre Price Jr., wide receiver on the bottom of your screen. He backed up, didn't set, then moved up, didn't get set again. So backs him up to the 44-yard line. That just made second down and 3, second and 8. I think one of the Bluffton players there, Lorenz Johnson, had a wristband on that he just threw over toward the sideline. 4 down lineman for Franklin. Tucker the carry. Tucker got by the initial wave and got some of the lost yardage back to the 41-yard line, gaining 3. Now that makes it 3rd down and 5 for Bluffton. Good tackle by the Grizzlies. Defensive lineman Jireo Hata. He had an outstanding high school career at Carmel, one of the premier football programs for high school in the state of Indiana. Has 6 sacks this season. 3rd and 5. Nobis facing pressure, gets rid of it to nobody. 4th and 5. He was trying to get it to Tavares Miller. And you're out of field goal range right now if you're Bluffton. So they have to send on the punting unit. And they'll try to pin Franklin deep inside their own 20-yard line. Jake Baumgartner is also the punter, so he kicks and he punts. And deep for Franklin is Garrett Cora. He's standing back at his own 10. Baumgartner taking his sweet time here and then booms it away. Bounces into the end zone for a touchback. So you sometimes see that happen on special teams. The punter might run it in one direction and then try to coffin corner it to that corner. But he was unable to do that. Of course, when you're the opposing team, you're worried about a fake the longer he holds on to the ball. That's a 41-yard punt that goes into the end zone for a touchback for Franklin. They end up getting it at their own 20-yard line. 7:13 left. First quarter action. Franklin 3 and Bluffton nothing. You are watching Franklin College football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. So Dane Andrews, who got shaken up on that last play where he was in, then had to come out of play, takes the snap and hands off to Thompson. And Thompson gains a few. Correction, that's Cora. Gain of 3. Second down and 7. Man coming in motion that time was McKinney. And McKinney on the reverse. Well done. Dylan McKinney able to fight his way forward to the 36-yard line, picking up 13 yards. That moves the chains. Fourth first down of the game for Franklin. Hand off, not much doing here from the 34. And that's Cora. No gain, second down and 10. Franklin brings in Devin Mueller, who had a catch earlier. He's at the bottom of your screen. Also, Dylan McKinney. He's in the slot left. Andrews. Pressure coming. He gets rid of it. McKinney couldn't quite hang on. And a big hit delivered there in the secondary by Bluffton's Martez Neighbors. Neighbors, a junior, 5'7", 190 from Redford, Michigan. He put the hurt on McKinney. And that makes it 3rd and 10. Andrews this time has a clean pocket. It looked like a lot of contact there. No flag, though. I don't know how that's not pass interference, but Steven Kosolowski comes up from the secondary, and clearly it looked to me like he made contact with the receiver before the ball got there. But they rule it just an incomplete pass, and you can probably hear the ire of the Franklin fans. They are not in agreement that time. So, after one first down, Franklin has to punt it away. Dylan Boswell to punt this one away. And movement on the line of scrimmage. Back deep to receive the punt, Montez Archer. And that's false start on Franklin. So back them up from the 34 to the 29. Montez Archer and Bluffton sure like this. That means they get to move up another 5 yards and might get better field position out of it. Boswell's averaging 40 yards a punt this year. He has 11 of them inside the 20. And he's only punted one touchback, so you can see how reliable he's been. This is a beauty. Archer goes back, now calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 26-yard line. 5:34 left, so in the first quarter, Franklin had the ball for less than 2 minutes. That is a punt of 53 yards by Boswell and no return. That right there, folks, is the demonstration of how important a punter can be. Because if you can get a guy that can boom it like that, it can flip field position in your favor. And you're seeing that right here. I'm John Herrick, filling in today on Grizz TV. Glad to be asked by the good folks at Franklin to be here. Last time you'll have to put up with me this season, I promise. Flag comes down before the play is snapped. And it's false start on Bluffton. Second time they've been called for a false start penalty in this game. Back them up to the 21 now. 1st and 15. Of course, it is loud today, especially with tons of Franklin fans here. Lots of alumni with it being homecoming. And another flag. Another false start. That's on Hunter Lacer. Of course, he threw his hands up right away and said, "What do you mean?" So they were starting from the 26. Now they're back to the 16, and it's 1st and 20. 5:34 left in the first quarter. Nobis in trouble, spins out of it somehow. Nobis takes off and runs and shoved out at the 21-yard line. Good pursuit there by Franklin's Cody Wilkerson. So there's the 5-yard gain. They got back the first slate of 5 yards they lost. 2nd down and 15. And again, Wilkerson now with over 40 tackles on the season for Franklin leads them in that category. And he is just everywhere. Tucker is the lone back next to Nobis. Nobis with a screen to Tucker. Tucker does not quite make it to the 30. Wrestled down by Tanner Swindle. That's a gain of 8. 3rd down and 7 for Bluffton. So far on defense, it's been Swindle and Wilkerson making most of the plays. That's because most of what Bluffton's been doing has been near the line of scrimmage. And these are two teams that love to pass it more than run it. Nobis heaves it deep down the sideline, incomplete. Good coverage in the secondary made by Evan Stambaugh. And the intended target was Zane Dine. That's the guy that Nobis loves to go to the most. He has 12 receptions on the year for 152 yards. Coming up empty on that play. 4th down and 7. On comes Baumgartner to punt it away. Cora is standing back near his own 25. Coming up on 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Franklin 3, Bluffton nothing. Snap a bit wobbly. Baumgartner drifting. Loves to go to that right side. Franklin saying, get rid of it, get away from it, get away from it. They do. And in so doing that, it takes a very favorable bounce for Bluffton out of bounds at the Franklin 16-yard line. So Franklin takes over from their own 17 with 4:05 to play in the first quarter. How about that punt by Baumgartner? Now, a lot of that was because of the favorable bounce that he got. 58 yards on the punt, but no return. But I would say about maybe 15 of those were because the ball bounced. Spencer Wright is back in at quarterback for Franklin. Alex Cora gets the carry from him. Cora with a nice run and delivers some punishment as he is ridden out of bounds at the 29-yard line for a gain of 12. 1st and 10, Grizzlies. Man who finally got over there for Bluffton on the tackle was Martez Neighbors. So Dane Andrews got banged up early in this game. His helmet came off. Wright came in to play quarterback for a play. Then Andrews came back out, but now Wright is back in the game. And Cora gets the carry. And Cora only to the 30 for a yard. 2nd down and 9. Good pursuit by Todd King Jr. Correction, Nick Perry from Northwood, Ohio. Wright slings it. Caught. Close to a 1st down. He did get the 1st down. Went right back to Derek Thompson. Thompson to the 40. Needed a little bit less than 10, but got 10 anyway, and that moves the sticks. 2 first downs on this drive for Franklin. One area of the game where it appears like Franklin has a pretty big advantage has been in first downs. They have 6 of them to Bluffton's 1 first down. Wright remains in the game at quarterback, and he fakes the handoff, tries to go up the middle, and gets hammered for no gain. Bluffton just did not fall for that at all. The 2 guys that combine on the tackle, Keith Holmes Jr. and Marvis McWright. Makes it 2nd and long. In at wide receiver at the bottom of your screen, Ryan Poole. Poole hasn't gotten much playing time this season, but he did start today. Wright takes off. Wright inside the 50 and goes to the 48-yard line of Bluffton. That's a gain of 12. 3 first downs on this drive already for the Grizzlies. I think it's pretty obvious right here why Alan Hensel, the head coach for Franklin, wants Wright in the game. Likes his mobility. And Thompson the carry. Gets away from one tackler. Tries to turn the corner on the other and then gets hit from behind. That is a fantastic play by Dana Shoulders, the second, a defensive lineman who is a senior. And he played that play like a senior. Backing Franklin up to their own 47 for a loss of 5, second down and 15. Coming up on a minute left in the first quarter. Franklin leading 3-0. Wright. Short pass Thompson. Thompson gets the lost yardage back and then gets walloped at the 46-yard line by Bluffton's Stephen Kosakowski. That's a gain of 7, but because of that previous play where there was a loss of 5, it's 3rd and 8. Wright showing good command of the offense so far. Andrews is standing on the sideline with his helmet off, cheering on Wright. Wright caught with that pass at the 40, but short of the first down. The reception was made by Dylan McKinney, who's been busy today. That's a gain of 6, but that still makes it 4th down as he was pushed out of bounds by Trayvon Cummings. 4th and 2. So what do the Grizzlies do here on 4th and short on the Bluffton side of the field? I think it's obvious what the fans want. They want them to go for it, and so does the bench. And Spencer Wright and the offense staying on the field. Mueller comes in as a wide receiver, slot right. Movement up front, and Bluffton jumps. What a hard count by Spencer Wright. It works perfectly. Dana Shoulders jumps across the line of scrimmage and gets called for an offside penalty on 4th and 2. That makes it a Franklin first down. So move the ball from the 40 to the 35. That is the 8th first down of the game so far for Franklin, and their first by way of penalty. And as soon as Shoulders crossed the line of scrimmage, he was so upset with himself. Now, if Franklin wants to, I don't think they have to run another play here before the quarter ends. And they don't look like they want to, as the clock is at 12. Now it's at 10. Yep, they look content to just wait and have their fresh set of downs from the Bluffton 35 come up when we start the second quarter. At the end of 1, Franklin 3, Bluffton nothing. You're watching Franklin College football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. A beautiful 58-degree Saturday here in Franklin. Franklin leading 3-0 as we begin the second quarter. I'm John Herrick with you on Grizz TV. Spencer Wright is in at quarterback instead of Dane Andrews. And Wright is showing exactly why he belongs out there right now. His running has been outstanding, and that is the second time on this drive alone that he has ran for a first down. He gets to the 24-yard line for a gain of 11. 3-0 Grizzlies, and they are at the Bluffton 24-yard line. They are the team in blue on your screen. Bluffton defending in white. Wright, and before he takes the snap, a whistle. Looks like we've got maybe a false start here on Franklin. Yep, that is exactly the call that the line judge makes. Backs him up to the 29, 1st and 15. So we have had a total of 6 combined false starts in this game already. 4 by Bluffton, 2 by Franklin. Wright with a throw. And it's caught on the move at the 26-yard line. Gain of 3. Elijah Carwin makes that nice grab. Knocked down by Bluffton's Nick Perry. And it's 3rd down and about 12. Wright stepping up, pressure in his face, has a man across the middle, it is caught, and Dylan McKinney waltzes in for a Franklin touchdown. 26-yard strike from Spencer Wright to Dylan McKinney. And the Grizzlies get the first touchdown of the game. They lead 9-0. Extra point try by Carter Brown, and Brown makes that. So Brown boots through the extra point. That is an 11-play drive for Franklin that went 83 yards. And it took five minutes and 32 seconds off the clock. What an impressive drive by Franklin. And for Dylan McKinney, that is his 3rd receiving touchdown of the season. Also his 16th reception. Really coming into this game, both these teams have been struggling defensively. Franklin giving up 30 points a game, Bluffton 29. So just looking at the stat sheet, you kind of figured that the team that would play the best defensively would have the best chance at winning. And so far, Franklin's defense has been really good. And Bluffton's, for the most part, hasn't played poorly, but they fell behind that time. Gabe Crutchfield to kick off. And Crutchfield angles it with a deep onside. Fielded at the 26 and then pitched back to Montez Archer. Archer to the outside with a nice run. So that was Antoine Coulter who fielded the kick and then pitched it back to Archer. And Archer with a nice run to the 37-yard line for 17 yards. Now Bluffton starts from their own 37. 13:30 left in the first half. They trail Franklin now 10-0. And this has been a Bluffton offense that so far has only been able to muster 1 first down. They went 3 and out on their last drive. They got 1 first down on their first drive before having to punt it away. And back comes the quarterback, Zach Nobis, and his offense to work. Nobis with the handoff. Instead of going to Tucker this time, he opts to go to his different running back, and that is Kanan Stoner, a freshman from Bell Center, Ohio, to the 40-yard line, picking up 3, 2nd down and 7, and a nice tackle made at the end of that run by Jure Ohata for Franklin. 2 minutes gone by in the second. All Grizzlies so far. Line Stoner up to his right this time. Throws it out in the flat. Perfect read defensively. That was fantastic by Wyatt Carmack. He just comes up and levels that Bluffton receiver, Lorenz Johnson. Johnson had a nice catch earlier in the game, but he gets drilled behind the line, back to the 36-yard line for a loss of 4, and it is 3rd down and 11 for the Bluffton University Beavers. And this Franklin crowd on this homecoming Saturday, the loudest they've been so far, urging their defense to get off the field here to the tune of the Halloween music. Oh, well, that's nice and creepy. Probably going to go see that sequel later. As Novus steps up in the pocket and goes down for the sack. Yeah, you could just feel it. The momentum in this place was just on the side of the Grizzlies, and the defense fed off of it. Dante Darden comes over and makes a fantastic sack to get the Grizzlies off the field. And for Darden this year, that is his 3rd sack. And he's also been good, too, batting passes down. He's had 2 pass breakups, and that time he just collapsed the pocket on Novus and took him down for the sack. Cora is standing back around his own 30-yard line. Baumgartner comes on to punt. He's inside his own 20. Baumgartner rolls. There's pressure. And this one takes a Bluffton bounce for a second. Then it's less favorable. They realize they have to down it before it takes an even less favorable bounce than that. Franklin takes over from their own 37-yard line. That was not the punt that Baumgartner wanted. 28 yards, no return. And I'll tell you what hurt Baumgartner that time. That time, he was kicking into the wind. And when you have the wind working against you as a punter, that can change the trajectory of what it does to the football. That's part of the reason why Franklin just let that last play tick down before the end of the quarter. They knew they'd have the wind at their back to start the second. Spencer Wright throws it out. Another catch by McKinney, who is having a fantastic football game as he darts out to midfield for a gain of 13 and a first down for Franklin. Coming over to make the tackle, Tavares Miller, but it was too late. He had already gained the first down. Somebody lost their towel. Yeah, it's somebody's got their towel down around the 50. I don't know if it belongs to Bluffton or Franklin, but somebody lost it. Either way, play continues. Cora, the fake to him. Wright keeps it. Bluffton not fooled by it this time. They had 2 guys in the backfield on that carry by Spencer Wright, and he was knocked down by Brady Welker. Gain of 1. 2nd down and 9. 10:30 left in the first half. 10-0 Franklin. Cora the carry again. Has room to the outside. Uses it. And gains 6 to the 43-yard line. Setting up 3rd down and manageable. For Bluffton, tackle gets credited to Martez Neighbors as well as Carl Foster. Foster was banged up earlier in this game, but he's back out there. Movement up front, but who jumped first? Of course, you have the ceremonial finger pointing at each other. Referees have to figure out what that's all about. Looked to me like Bluffton jumped first. There you go. And that is on 3rd and 3. That moves the ball to the Bluffton 38-yard line. 2nd first down today for Franklin by way of penalty. Again, the advantage in that department overwhelming. Franklin 10 first downs to Bluffton 1. Wright keeps it. He's got all day to run. Takes off and goes as far as he can to the 25-yard line for a gain of 13 yards. I think he was probably about maybe 7 yards down the field before anybody from Bluffton even knew he had the football. Finally coming up to make the play at the end for the Beavers was Nick Perry, but that's a 13-yard scamper and a first down and a whistle. Now what? Referees are talking to Alex Henson. Now Dane Andrews is coming out onto the field. So if you're just joining us, Andrews got banged up. He was the starting quarterback today, and then he got hit hard. His helmet came off. He came back in for another play. Then he came off the field. Wright came in at quarterback, and now they're putting Andrews back in the game. And I think that was the reason for the stoppage. Okay. Wonder how long we'll see both of these guys. Andrews fires to the outside. Catch made at the 15. Was he in bounds? Yes, they say he was. Sliding effort there by Devin Mueller. Second catch he's made today near the sideline. Carl Foster covering, but didn't get over there in time to the 14-yard line. Gain of 11. First down and 10. They need the 4 for another one. Inside 9 minutes to play, second quarter. Franklin 10 and Bluffton nothing. Cora, the carry. Cora breaks loose up the middle and into the end zone goes Garrett Cora. What moves he put on from 14 yards out. Garrett Cora scores. That was an impressive scoring drive as well. 6 plays, 63 yards. Carter Brown for the extra point. Snap good, hold good. Brown's kick, perfect. And by the way, Carter Brown on the season is now 18 of 18 on point after attempts. That drive took 3 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock. Bluffton gets the ball back, down 17-0. And I just dropped my phone, which you all heard. But yeah, very impressive day for this Franklin Grizzly offense. 11 first downs at one point. Now they have 16. 9 of them have been by way of passing, 5 by rushing, 2 by penalty. They are, ironically enough, only 1 of 5 on third down because they haven't really been facing a third down. They've run 31 total plays to Bluffton's 12, and here is what's really impressive. 221 total yards of offense to Bluffton's 30. And the kickoff from Gabe Crutchfield is a wobbler that's picked up by Archer. Archer just outside the 20. Boy, he's got speed. You know why they want him to get the ball in special teams. And he is walloped at the 34-yard line, but he does have a 17-yard return. And Bluffton has not had bad field position. It's just they have not been able to cash in on the field position that they've had. And again, like I said, only 1 first down for them today and just 30 yards of total offense so far. Time of possession, too. Franklin 13:45 and Bluffton 7:37. So the time of possession 2-1 in favor of Franklin. Novus back out at quarterback. Screen pass, or tried to set one up anyway, did not work. Well, I think he underthrew the screen pass. And really, it's probably a good thing, though, that Andre Price Jr., that wide receiver who's a sophomore from Detroit, Michigan. It's a good thing he made that catch, because if he didn't, that might have been intercepted. Back to the line of scrimmage, no gain, 2nd down and 10. For Price, that is his 9th reception of the season, does have a touchdown. Novus has time. Now he doesn't. Down he goes in the 36. Now he was able to scamper out for 2 yards, but Franklin was ready for it. Pursuit was excellent by Justin Gifford. Gifford comes over and knocks him down. 3rd down and 8. Pretty good crowd from Bluffton at least showed up earlier. And the crowd for Franklin, though, loud and raucous. Homecoming for them. Atmosphere has been great at Faught Stadium today. Nobis fires, caught, 1st down. Nice play made after the catch by Tavares Miller, freshman wide receiver from Miami, Florida. They give him the Franklin 48-yard line, gain of 16 on that catch and run. And that is the 2nd 1st down of the game for Bluffton. Both of the conversions for 1st downs by Bluffton have come on 3rd downs. There was some movement up front, but they let play continue. Not much on that reception. Caught out of the backfield by Chris McLaurin, freshman tight end. He was shoved out of play by Cody Wilkerson, and also for the Grizzlies, Nick Winders. They give him the 44-yard line of Franklin. That's a gain of 4. 2nd down and 6 upcoming. Nobis has a clean pocket, made a good throw, just did not get caught. Tavares Miller yakking it up there with a couple of the Franklin players. His coach tells him to get back. 3rd down and 5. Haven't seen Bluffton run a single play that hasn't been in the shotgun. And this time, Nobis goes empty set. Nobis with a clean pocket. One hops the pass incomplete. 4th down. Tried to get it to Andre Price, but it was just a little bit low. So they get a 1st down. This was very similar to their first drive of the game. They got a little bit of movement. They got 1 1st down, and then after they got it, they stalled. And that's exactly what happened here. Cora is back deep at his own 13-yard line. Faulkner ready to punt it away to him. He loves to go to his right. Let's see if he tries that again. Yes, he does. Franklin has clearly made the adjustment. Now he ends up punting that back to his left. It bounces, rolls along the 10-yard line. Now it gets inside there. That's exactly what he wanted to do. And it kept rolling. My goodness. That took one of the strangest bounces. It's like it went horizontal for a while, then it decided to bounce vertical. 38-yard punt, no return. And that gives Franklin their worst starting field position of the day. Now, Bluffton did have the ball there
for over 3 minutes, which, as I mentioned before that drive, the time of possession was 2-1 in favor of Franklin. So Bluffton having the ball for 3 minutes definitely gives their defense some time to breathe, and they give their defense some prime real estate here, backing up Franklin's offense to the 6. And Dane Andrews back in the game at quarterback. The handoff. Thompson made something out of nothing there. Looked like he was going to run around, didn't have any room to go, then somehow created 5 yards out of that. 2nd down and 5, upended by Montez Archer. Low snap to Andrews. Handoff to Thompson. Cora. Garrett Cora gets that. Goes out to the 13-yard line, only picking up 2.
Credit the tackle to Steven Kosakowski. So gain of 5 and a gain of 2 makes it 3rd down and 3 for Franklin. Again, even if they don't score on this drive, just getting a first down here would give you some breathing room, give your field position a chance to go back in your favor. Andrews with pressure coming, gets rid of it, low and dropped. Kosakowski was on the coverage, and he says not today as he waves the no sign after knocking that away from Dylan McKinney. So that is today, for the first time, a Franklin 3 and out. And they send Dylan Boswell back to punt this one away. He's standing in his own end zone. And they've got Archer back to return for Bluffton, standing at his own 45. 4:06 to play, second quarter. 17-0 Franklin. The kick by Boswell. It's a wobbler. Gets a favorable bounce and then is down at midfield by Derek Thompson. I think Derek might have been able to let that bounce a little bit further, but I think he chose to just pick it up and not let Archer get his hands on it, which probably was not the worst idea, considering how Archer is explosive for Bluffton. And they've been trying to get him the ball as much as they can on special teams. 36 yards on that punt by Boswell, no return. Bluffton has it from the Franklin 49. By far their best starting field position. Nobis with a hard count that works to perfection. He got 3 Franklin defensive linemen to jump into the neutral zone. Could not have worked any better. Whistle that one against Tanner Swindle, who's actually had a really good game defensively. Made several tackles. Moves it to the 44-yard line. 1st and 5. Nobis in trouble right away. He is hit. The ball is out. Franklin almost has it. Now they do have it. Picking it up at the midfield stripe and running it back for the Grizzlies is Jason Pigg. Jason Pigg, or rather Swindle. That is Swindle motoring his way to the house for a Franklin touchdown. So the ball comes out. Franklin doesn't quite get it back. Then they do get it. Swindle gets an early Halloween present and runs it all the way back for a score from 48 yards away. Holy cow. If you thought it was loud in here before, it's incredibly loud now. Bluffton having some trouble getting guys on the field for this extra point attempt from Carter Brown. And Brown stays perfect on the season with extra points. Now 19 of 19. 24-0 Franklin. Couldn't quite tell who hit the ball out. Might have been Orhata. It was either him or Ogle who knocked it free. So 3:41 left in the second quarter, a quarter that has been dominated by Franklin. At the end of one, it was 10-0. Franklin had just gotten their first touchdown of the day, and they got rolling. Bluffton is averaging just 2.7 yards a play. Franklin averaging 7.
They have 138 passing yards to Bluffton's 30. 91 yards rushing to Bluffton's 21. Crutchfield ready to kick off at the 35-yard line, and does. With the deep onside, fair catch called for and made just outside the 30 by Bluffton's Bishop Robertson. Been some frustration this year for Franklin, losing 3 games in a row, starting off the conference season 0-2 in HCAC play. And you can just tell they've just been so prepared and ready to go. They felt great about this game coming in, and they have put forth an outstanding effort in all 3 phases of the game so far. Novus back out there. Novus spreads it out. 3rd different running back to touch the ball here for Bluffton. And this time it is Calvin Dudley, a sophomore from Akron, Ohio, to the 37-yard line. Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4. That's typically a call you might see from an offense that's playing against a defense that just got a big play, so they're fired up. So you're sitting there thinking, hey, let's make sure we slow them down a little bit so they don't rush up the field after us. This time the carry. And how about that blast from Cody Wilkerson? Just comes up and absolutely takes down Caden Stoner. Stoner to the 38, gaining a yard. That's it. 3rd and 3 for Bluffton. And Bluffton so far in this game, they are 2 of 6. Novus throws that one way over the head of everybody. Clear miscommunication. I think he thought that either Ethan Behringer or Joseph Taviano, his wide receiver and his tight end that were out there, I think he thought one of them was going to go deep. They didn't. Clear miscommunication. And that makes it 4th down and 3. Bluffton on to punt. They get a nice run, and then they got to punt it away. I mean, if you're in their shoes, you're down 24-0. You're not going to get it all back at once. Thought they might stick with the ground game after getting that 6 yards, but they chose not to, as Cora goes back to receive the punt from Baumgartner. Baumgartner, not a good punt here. It bounces, and Cora picks it up. Wow, risky play there by Cora. But Kosakowski takes him down at the 38-yard line. So he ends up picking that up at the 32, returns it for 6 yards. .204 left in the first half. At halftime, we'll give you the stats and numbers from this one. We'll recap how it's gone so far if you're just joining us. Both teams kind of sputtered a little bit out of the gate. Franklin got a field goal. Okay, did not see a flag out there, but I guess they're calling holding on Franklin, so that backs him up 10 yards from the end of the run. The punt was only 26 yards. So Franklin starts from their own 28. Now they do have 2 minutes and 4 seconds on the clock to work with. And both teams have all 3 of their timeouts. Dane Andrews with a handoff to Cora. Cora breaks loose. Cora at midfield accidentally runs into his own teammate Dylan McKinney and motors his way all the way down to the 38 of Bluffton before Kosakowski finally brought him down from behind along with the help of Archer. That is a gain of 34 yards on that run by Cora. Cora is listed as a wide receiver on the roster, but he's been playing more like a running back in this game. 1:40 left in the first half. Andrews. Pocket was clean, but he just rushed the throw a little bit as he was looking for McKinney out there on the outside. 2nd down and 10. On the coverage for Bluffton was Marcus Wood. Also, Dane Andrews, if you're just joining us, got injured in the first quarter, had his helmet knocked off. Spencer Wright came in and had 3 rushing plays that led to first downs. And Andrews is back in the game. So both quarterbacks have played well for Franklin. Risky throw by Andrews that nearly got picked. Looking for McKinney, and it got swatted away at the last moment by Tyler Davis, who made a good play defensively. Okay, 3rd down and 10. So after the big play by Cora, Franklin is on the verge of possibly having to give the ball back to Bluffton. Now, they do still have some time to work with here. 1:29 left in the first half. Andrews, nothing doing downfield, throws it out into the flat to Cora, and it ends up going at his feet. Not what you like there. 4th down for Franklin. Now, Carter Brown is 1 for 1 on field goals this year, but his longest is nowhere near this distance. It'd be about 55-yard field goal, so they're just going to send out Dylan Boswell to punt this one away. Archer standing back around his own 10. And I think if you're Franklin, you want to get this ball to the sideline. Don't let Archer have any shot at this. Snap low, bounces. Boswell digs it out of there. And they couldn't quite get down there to down it. Good effort, though, by Derek Thompson. 38-yard punt goes into the end zone for a touchback. Bluffton gets it with 1:15 to play from their own 20.
Now, they do have all 3 of their timeouts left. And here's what's ironic. Coming into this game, they only averaged 80 yards on the ground and 194 through the air. Yet they have just not been able to get the passing game going at all. They don't even have 100 yards of total offense. Andrews talking to his offensive coordinator on the sideline for Franklin. Novus hands off to Stoner. Stoner hunkered down at the 22-yard line. Thompson was there, and so was Dante Darden. 2nd down and 3 after that gain. Correction, 2nd down and 7 after the gain of 3. 50 seconds left, and Bluffton not showing a whole lot of urgency here. I mean, they're down 24-0. They have timeouts to work with. Clock is at 40 seconds. I know they don't want Franklin getting the ball back, but they've let a lot of time go off the clock here. And their handoff faked. Novus fires. Incomplete. Now a flag is down around the 25-yard line. Got to figure out what this is about. The receiver on the near side of your screen, Lorenz Johnson, had a few words for the official. See what this is about. Doesn't appear to be good for Bluffton. They're backing up. It is, because now they just asked Franklin what they wanted to do, either decline or accept it. They say decline. Okay. Decline the penalty. Third down and 7. Franklin's mindset's probably, let's decline it. Let's get a stop on 3rd down. Let's get the ball back, and let's have a chance to tack on another score before the end of the half. Franklin got the ball to begin the game, so Bluffton will have it to start the 3rd quarter.
Nobis decides to hand it off here to Todd King. That's the fourth different Bluffton running back to get a carry in this game to the 25-yard line, gain of 2. And Franklin is just saying, nope, let's let the time run off. They won't use a timeout, even though they can. And that does it for the first half. A first half that the Franklin Grizzlies dominated. They got some big plays on the ground game, some big plays through the air. Both quarterbacks, Spencer Wright and Dane Andrews, got into the game, had a lot of playing time. And that's probably the best half of the season that the Franklin Grizzlies have played to this point, or one of the best for sure. We'll have your halftime show. We'll give you the first half stats and analysis and a look at what's coming up later. You're watching Franklin College football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. It is halftime at Faught Stadium, where the Franklin Grizzlies have a 24-0 lead on the Bluffton Beavers. I'm John Herrick. Thank you so much for watching this one on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Let's recap how we got to this point. Franklin got the ball to start the game after winning the toss. They went on a 10-play, 49-yard scoring drive that took 3 minutes and 56 seconds off the clock. Derek Bolden knocked through a 37-yard field goal. Then back comes Bluffton on their first drive of the game. They got 1 first down, but then had to punt. Franklin also had to punt. The teams would exchange punts. Franklin then got the ball from their own 17. They go 11 plays, 83 yards, 5 minutes, 32 seconds off the clock, and Dylan McKinney catches a 26-yard touchdown pass from Spencer Wright. The extra point by Carter Brown made it 10-0 Franklin. Spencer Wright, yes, the backup quarterback for Franklin, played a good chunk of the first half. Dane Andrews got banged up on a play on the opening drive. His helmet came off. He had to come off the field for a play, but he did come back in and finish the second half. After that score by Franklin to make it 10-0, Bluffton went on a 3-and-out on their next drive. Franklin responded with a 6-play, 63-yard scoring drive. 3 minutes and 48 seconds off the clock, and Cora runs it in from 14 yards out. The extra point by Carter Brown made it 17-0 Grizzlies. Teams would exchange punts again, and then Franklin caused a fumble, what appeared to be Owen Ogle knocking the ball out of the hands of the Bluffton quarterback Zach Nobis, and then it was picked up by Tanner Swindle, who ran it 48 yards to the house on the fumble return. And that extra point by Brown after that made it 24-0. Bluffton and Franklin then exchanged punts. Bluffton ran the ball a couple of times on the final play that they had in the first half, and they were unable to get a first down. Franklin decided not to use their timeouts. They opted instead to wait until the second half, because why wouldn't they? The first half went superbly well. Now Bluffton will get the ball to begin the third quarter. So that's how we got to this point. We'll break down the stats for you when we come back in just a moment on the Grizz TV. This is Franklin College football presented by the Hubler Automotive Group. It is halftime at Faught Stadium of this one, 24-0, advantage Franklin. It has been all Grizzlies in the first half. And it is also homecoming at Franklin, so the members of the Franklin Homecoming Court are being named right now at halftime here. Let's give you the team comparison statistics so far, and if you watched any of the first half, you saw me mention the disparity between first downs. Franklin had 17 first downs in that first half, 9 by way of passing, 6 by rushing, and 2 by way of penalty. Bluffton had just two first downs the whole first half. Franklin was 1 of 7 on third down. The key was, though, they didn't reach third down a lot of times. They were just getting first downs before they even reached third down, but they were 1 of 7 on third down efficiency. Bluffton was 2 of 8 for 25%. Franklin ran 38 total plays for 263 yards. That's 7 yards a play. Bluffton ran 25 plays for 62 yards. That's just 2.5 yards a play. Franklin had 138 yards passing. Bluffton had just 30. And as for rushing, mentioned the disparity before the game. Talked about how both these teams don't run the ball super well. Bluffton only averages 80 rushing yards a contest. Franklin over 100 yards, but they were going to need the running game to pick up if they were going to find a way to win this game. That's kind of been a little bit of a problem for them this year. And Franklin came into this contest, you might remember me saying this in the pregame, they averaged 113 yards rushing per contest. They already have 125 yards rushing at the half of this game on 19 attempts. That's an average of 7 yards a rush. Time of possession, it was at one point 2-1 in favor of Franklin, but Bluffton actually possessed the ball for a good chunk of the later stages of the second quarter to narrow that gap. Franklin has possessed it for 15 minutes and 57 seconds of the game, and Bluffton has had it for 14:03. Individual statistics, let's go with the Grizzlies first, who have simply been outstanding. I guess we'll go ahead and do Bluffton's first. Zachary Nobis, their quarterback, 6 of 12 for 30 yards. He also has 5 carries for 12 yards. Malik Tucker with 3 rushes for 6. Todd King, 2 for 5. They just have not been able to get anything going on the ground. Their leading receiver is Trayvon Cummings, who has 1 catch for 17 yards. And again, they just have not been able to get anything going offensively there. For Franklin, they are led in passing by Dane Andrews, who has 73 yards passing on 6 of 12. Spencer Wright, though, came in relief of Andrews for a good portion of that first half. He was 6 of 7 passing for 65 yards, and of course he had the touchdown pass to Dylan McKinney. Garrett Cora with 9 carries for 86 yards and a touchdown. That's a 9.6 yards per rush. Spencer Wright, 5 carries for 38 yards, 7.6 yards a carry. Wright really, I thought, too, made a big difference, especially with a few of those runs he had for first downs, which really moved momentum more in Franklin's favor. Derek Thompson had 4 carries for 1 yard. Dane Andrews did have 1 carry for no yards. Receiving-wise, Dylan McKinney for the Grizzlies has been simply sensational. 5 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. Derek Thompson, 3 receptions, 30 yards. Devin Mueller, 2 receptions, 22 yards. And the backup tight end, Elijah Corwin, has 2 receptions for 9 yards. But could not have asked for a much better start to this one. Franklin leads it 24-0 at the half. When we come back to Faught Stadium, we'll have second half action from Franklin in just a moment. You are watching Franklin College football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group.
Back here at Faught Stadium on Grizz TV, Franklin College football. I'm John Herrick. Thank you so much for joining us on what is a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Homecoming at Franklin. Coming up next week, Franklin goes to Anderson. And Anderson just lost to this Bluffton team a week ago. Then after that, the day before Halloween, after that Anderson game, Franklin goes to Defiance. Then they play Rose-Hulman November 6th. That is senior day here at Franklin. And then November 13th, they finish out their regular season against Hanover for the 91st Victory Bell game, which is one of the best rivalries in college sports, whenever Hanover and Franklin get together for the Victory Bell. So an important day for Franklin because this is their second to last home game of the season. And what a way to come out and play. They have done so far. 24-0, they lead Bluffton. Be interesting to see the quarterback situation, what Franklin decides to do. I don't know if it was planned for Dane Andrews and Spencer Wright to split time, but Andrews got banged up in the first quarter. So Wright came in afterwards, and Wright was playing, honestly, too well for him to have to come out. They needed him on the field. And he completed 6 of 7 passes, had a few carries for first downs, 5 carries for 38 yards, 6 of 7 passing, and did have the touchdown reception that he threw, touchdown pass to Dylan McKinney. And then Garrett Cora, a 14-yard run, and then that big fumble return where Tanner Swindle scooped up the loose ball, ran it 48 yards to the house for what was a dominant half by the Franklin Grizzlies. They lead 24-0, and Bluffton gets the ball to begin the third quarter. Gabe Crutchfield kicking off. Montez Archer is the deep man back for Bluffton. Archer's got speed. And definitely, I think part of the reason you've seen Crutchfield go with these deep onside kicks, he just does not want Montez Archer to have any shot at that. But they're trying to make sure that he can try to get it, but not this time. Fielded at the 30-yard line by Bluffton's Lorenz Johnson, and the ball came out. I think the ball came out. It did, and Franklin's got it. Unbelievable. How about that for the start of the third quarter for Franklin? And Marcel Campbell, junior defensive lineman, comes up with the loose ball, and Franklin takes over at the Bluffton 33. My goodness. Fumble recovery to start the third quarter. And Franklin gets to set up shop at the Bluffton 33-yard line. Wow. And flag flies on this running play. The carry was given to Cameron Johnson. First touch for him this afternoon. Of course, that play happened near the Franklin sideline, so they're trying to tell the referee that it was against Bluffton, and the way Franklin's backing up, though, it looks like it's against them. Holding penalty whistled against Evan Jose, senior left tackle from Newcastle, Indiana. Backs him up to the 43. 1st and 20. So Andrews starts the second half at quarterback, gives to Johnson, and Johnson gets knocked down hard by Marvis McWright, defensive lineman from Westland, Michigan. 38-yard line is where he went. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 15. Franklin 24 and Bluffton nothing. Opening up the third quarter. Ryan Poole going wide to the right. Mueller's in there as well. So is Dylan McKinney. Andrews, pocket was clean, now it's not, and throws it into the Bluffton sideline. Andrews been slow to get up this time, but he is helped up by his offensive lineman.
3rd and 15. Alec looking over there, and they bring in Garrett Cora, and Cora replaces Johnson. Bluffton sideline making a lot of noise. They know they need to stop. Andrews dumps it off to Cora. Cora through the wave of defenders. Cora into the secondary. Cora may go. He reaches for the pylon. It goes over. Did he step out though? No, he did not. Touchdown, Cora. That man has some kind of speed. A 38-yard touchdown reception. That drive was 3 plays and took 1 minute off the clock. And the extra point made by Carter Brown. 31-0. Franklin. So Garrett Cora really in line to possibly be our player of the game.
He was the second running back listed on the depth chart today, and he's only a freshman. 5'10", 175 pounds, and on the roster he's listed as a wide receiver. And he is just so incredibly dangerous. So Dane Andrews has now thrown a touchdown pass, and so is Spencer Wright. Crutchfield tees it up at the 35. What a swing. Bluffton had the ball to begin the third quarter. They end up giving it away on the kickoff, and Franklin goes down and makes him pay. Fair catch called for and made it to 26. Lorenz Johnson, I think after what happened on that last play, he's like, let's just find a way to slow down and let's not give it away on special teams. 13:51 left in the third quarter. Bluffton takes over from their own 26. Andrews with 111 yards passing with a touchdown. Garrett Cora has 9 rushes for 86 yards and a rushing touchdown. That was his first reception for 38 yards, and he has a receiving touchdown. And back comes out Nobis for the offense for Bluffton. Swings it out. Catch made. Gets inside the 30 to the 31. Lorenz Johnson with the reception. Gain of 5. Wyatt Carmack in on the tackle for Franklin. Skies have been mostly sunny. It's been a beautiful Saturday. Bit chillier than normal. Feeling a little bit more like October weather. Nobis under duress, setting up a screen to Stoner. Stoner makes a move. And then Stoner gets knocked backwards. Now a flag comes in at the end of the play. So the tackle was made by Jason Pigg. He was outstanding. And then I think he said something he shouldn't have. Only a yard for Stoner, but the Swindle's having a word with the referee. So it happened after the play was over. Tack on 15.
And Bluffton gets it from their own 47. Just don't want to do that. You got a 31-0 lead. Everything's going your way. Trying to get your first conference win. Don't need to help out the opposition. Nobis in trouble. Sacked back at the 34-yard line. Swindle again. Swindle has been in on several plays today. That's his first sack. He's had a couple tackles for loss. Here's what's weird. They pretty much got all of the lost yardage back because they had the penalty working against him, and then a 12-yard sack. And for Swindle, that's his second sack of the season to go along with 6 tackles for loss. Second down and 22 after that 12-yard sack. 12 minutes left in the third. Nobis, inside handoff on the delay to Stoner. Stoner gets some of the lost yardage back to the 41-yard line where he is blasted by Aaron Black. Gain of 6, third down and 16. Nobis faked the pass, hands it off to Stoner, and Stoner just gets stonewalled. Quarterback draw didn't work out. Wilkerson comes in and makes the stop. He got help on the end of the play by Cameron Johnson, or rather, Demarion Newell. That's a loss of 3 yards. 4th and 19. Jake Baumgartner to punt it away. And Cora's back. Baumgartner gets his right leg into it. Not a great punt. Gets a nice roll. Down at the 32. They don't need Garrett Cora touching the ball again with how dangerous he has been today. 10 minutes, 33 seconds on the clock, third quarter. Franklin gets it from their own 31. 31-yard punt, no return. And Spencer Wright has come back into the game to play quarterback here for Franklin. So we've seen both quarterbacks come out and play for Franklin. Andrews just threw his first touchdown pass, and now it's Wright again. Wright fakes the give and runs. And with that carry, he now has over 40 yards rushing on the day. Moving it ahead to the 34-yard line, gain of 3, second down and 7. Tackle made by Nick Perry. And he was also there helped by Mitchell Young. Of course, if you're Franklin, you're in no hurry, and I think what Coach Alan Hensel is saying is we need running yards to kill the clock, so let's bring in a more running quarterback. And they get a big run down the sideline here from Derek Thompson. Thompson cutting back inside and is twisted down at the 16-yard line of Bluffton. Derek Thompson busting loose into the secondary with a big run, and a Bluffton player is down with an injury. That is a 50-yard run by Derek Thompson. And I don't see a flag down, so the play is going to stay. And it's interesting, too, because Thompson, prior to that, he had some trouble getting on track running the football. He had just 4 carries for 1 yard. And really, it had been Cora doing the damage in the running game. It had been Spencer Wright carrying the ball well. Maybe that's because they were keying on Thompson, but Thompson just made a great play. And the Bluffton player who was injured and is being helped up here is Mitchell Young, a man who just made that tackle from Lodi, Ohio. 5'11", 243-pound. Junior. Good to see him walk off the field a little bit. Needed some help. And it's 1st and 10 for Franklin from the Bluffton 16. Wright to Johnson this time. Johnson up the middle. Johnson doesn't quite get in. Knocked down at the 1-yard line. 15-yard scramble. 1st and goal. And now we have another Bluffton player hurt. This time it is Dana Shoulders. And Shoulders hobbles off. What a tough game this has been for Bluffton. This is just the 4th play of the drive. Johnson remains the tailback. Wright remains the quarterback. Johnson the carry. No! The man who made the tackle, Stacy Littlejohn, he is 6 feet, 380 pounds. And as soon as he got his hands on Cam Johnson, Johnson was going nowhere. And he lost a yard to the 2. 2nd and goal. Franklin changes up some personnel here. They bring in Oren Schmidt, the tight end. They also bring in Ian Syme. Johnson the carry again, and this time he scores from 2 yards away. Cam Johnson brings this crowd to its feet, and the Grizzlies continue to pour it on. They now lead 37-0. My goodness, what a day for Franklin. 5 plays, 69 yards on that scoring drive. 1:17 off the clock. Carter Brown's extra point. Nails it. So of those 69 yards, 50 came on that one play to Thompson. 38-0 Grizzlies. This is just exactly, this kind of performance, exactly what the doctor ordered for Franklin. They needed a game like this. 3 straight losses, 0-2 in the conference. Got to stop a losing streak, got to get a conference win if you want to compete for a conference championship and then give yourself a chance to make the national tournament. You got to get it done in your conference first, and they had been struggling. Now, granted, one of those losses was to Manchester in overtime, and Franklin came off a tough loss last week to Mount St. Joseph, and they only scored 14 points in that game, so they needed a better offensive showing today, and boy, have they gotten it. Crutchfield the kickoff, deep onside, fielded by Johnson. Johnson going back. And Lorenz Johnson with a good return, but he stepped out at the 46 of Franklin, according to the officials. So Bluffton's probably saying to themselves, we just need something. We need to get something in the end zone. We don't want to get shut out. Got to get something going. But here's the thing. They've looked almost even more afraid to pass the ball in the second half than they did in the first half. And it really just hasn't been, sometimes games slip away from you because of turnovers, but that really hasn't been the case with Franklin. I mean, yes, they did have the fumble recovery for a touchdown, and they did have the fumble that they recovered on the kickoff to start the second half, but they've been dominating this game even without the turnovers. And they get a turnover right here. Nick Winders intercepts this one. Winders running it back with blockers in front. Winders stays on his feet and then gets leveled. He gets leveled at the 36-yard line. But what a return after the interception by Nick Winders. He had 8 pass breakups coming into today and gets a big pick right there. And got to give a little bit of a shout out to Marcus Finley, the offensive lineman who leveled him. And for Zach Nobis, the quarterback for Bluffton, he just threw his 5th interception of the season. Cora, the carry on 1st and 10. And Cora does not get anything. 2nd down and 10. 8:40 still to play in the 3rd quarter. Franklin 38 and Bluffton nothing. Third different quarterback in the game now for Franklin. As Cora gets the carry. And there's that big boy, that big defensive lineman for Bluffton, Stacy Littlejohn, the 380-pounder who made that hit on Cam Johnson on 1st and goal. Yeah, he just takes down Cora here and then comes off the field. So the new quarterback in for Franklin is Kai Ross. Now, Kai is a freshman, 5'10", 180-pounder. Played his high school football not too far from here, Tri-West in Liston, Indiana. I was up in Mulberry last night, drove past Liston. 3rd and 10. And the throw outright caught by Michael Reese, one of Franklin's tight ends, to the 28-yard line. So Kai Ross with a nice throw there. 4th down and about 4. And I think they might just be saying, let's keep the offense on the field. Or maybe you give one of your kickers a try at possibly a 45-yard field goal, but they say no to that. Reese coming in motion there. Ross, pressure right away, flips it out of there. Flag down, going to be roughing the passer. Little excessive there. I don't blame Latrell Tompkins for getting in the backfield and making a play, but Tompkins got a little too physical and didn't let up when it was clear that Ross had let go of the football. And that's been a point of emphasis at all levels of football, whether it's high school, defensive, whether it's high school, college, or pro, they're going to call that. So even if that catch wasn't made, it's going to be a 1st down anyway. And again, that's a back-breaking penalty. One other thing about Bluffton, they had an offside penalty on 4th and 2, which gave Franklin a 1st down. They later scored. They also had an offside on 3rd and short, gave Franklin a 1st down. They later scored on that drive. Roughing the passer penalty here. That moves Franklin at the 18-yard line. And Cora the carry. Cora slashes back inside toward the goal line. Cora is in again. My goodness, what a day Garrett Cora is having. 3 touchdowns for Garrett Cora. And it is 44-0 Franklin. Carter Brown for the point after. Snap good, the hold is good too, and the kick, bullseye. 45-0 Franklin with 6:42 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
A complete performance being put on here by the Grizzlies as they are dominating this contest. It is Franklin College football presented by the Hubler Automotive Group on Grizz TV. Appreciate you tuning in wherever you are, wherever you may be watching. The stats in this game are just simply eye-popping.
Individually, though, I think the player that has to be celebrated the most for Franklin is Garrett Cora. 2 rushing touchdowns, a receiving touchdown, 99 yards on the ground, 38 receiving for a grand total of 137. 3 different quarterbacks have played for Franklin. Crutchfield, the kickoff. Crutchfield, to the 28. And that is returned here. Nice play by Bluffton's Montez Archer. And that's exactly what Franklin has not wanted to do. They've tried so hard to keep it away from Archer, and that time Archer goes to the house. A 72-yard touchdown return by Montez Archer gets Bluffton on the board finally. Jake Baumgartner, the extra point attempt coming up. Nobis is the holder. Snap is high, he bobbles it, he picks it up, and down he goes. And Franklin almost recovered it. Didn't matter anyway. It has just been that kind of day for Bluffton. So Franklin 45, Bluffton 6, with 6:30 on the clock left still in the third quarter on this homecoming Saturday for Franklin. I'm John Herrick. Thanks for joining us on Grizz TV, the second to last home game of the season for Franklin. And it has been an outstanding day for them. Very few mistakes to speak of. Bouncing back after 2 tough losses. Well, 3 in total, 3 straight losses, one of which was especially heartbreaking in overtime. But this was a day where the Grizzlies needed to have a good performance, and they have. And they had done such a good job of making sure that they kept it away from Montez Archer, and with good reason. But Archer that time able to play the onside well, got up and recovered it, and took it 72 yards to the house. And Bluffton on the board finally. With 6:30 to play in the third quarter, Franklin ahead now 45-6. And the kickoff from Baumgartner. That one heading toward the sideline, fielded by Thompson at the 10. Thompson. They give him the 31-yard line. Taken down on the return by Carl Foster. 21 yards on the return. Franklin takes over from their own 31. 6:24 left in period 3. They're driving into the wind. Not that there's a lot of wind right now, but there's just enough of it to maybe be a factor in the passing game. Kai Ross, the freshman quarterback, is in. So Franklin has gone through now 3 quarterbacks. Now I think with the lead that you're going to see them run the ball more. Johnson the carry. Taken down at the 38-yard line, gain of 7, second down and 3. And Lawden Solbeamer makes the tackle, senior linebacker for the Bluffton Beavers. Not that everything going on around the field has everything to do with what's going on the field, but this, when you came into Faught Stadium today, the place just felt different. It felt electric, which has certainly translated into a very solid performance. Ross almost lost the snap. Ball went out of the air. He picked it up after it went high and somehow scrambles for a first down to the 49-yard line. Gain of 11 after what was nearly a broken play. .5:30 left in the third. Of course, Franklin doing a good job using as much of the play clock every time. One thing I think they got to be very pleased with is the running game today. Johnson. Hit from behind. Crowd wants a horse collar tackle. They will not get it. And that was, again, Stacy Littlejohn. I mean, Littlejohn has been one of the bright spots, I think, for Bluffton's defense. He's, again, 380 pounds. Not an easy guy to block. He has that sort of, if you remember this defensive tackle for the Patriots, Vincent Wilfork. Wilfork was a big defensive lineman for them back when they won a couple Super Bowls, and he was hard to block off the line of scrimmage. And Littlejohn has that similar type frame. Ross with a man at his face, dumping it off, and it's caught by Reese, the tight end to the 49-yard line. They give him the 49-yard line of Bluffton. That is a gain of 2. 3rd down and 8. At this point, you're thinking to yourself, run your play that you need to run, get up slow, and keep that clock moving if you're Franklin. They lead 45-6. They led 24-0 at the half, 10-0 at the end of the first quarter. Or 3-0 after the end of the first quarter, rather. Then they scored 21 in the second quarter. And from there, it's just been a rout. Throw by Ross, incomplete, but nearly picked. Good job on that coverage there for Bluffton by Dion Minch. He stepped in front of it, nearly had the pick, but that was on 4th down and 8, and that's a turnover on downs for Franklin. 3:39 to go. Or no, that was on 3rd down. I think they had the 4th down marker up. I was questioning myself over that, but there we go. Now it's 4th down. I was going to say, I don't really wouldn't expect them to go for that. Some play at the end of the couple of pushes and shoves at the end of that. Ball was downed well by Dylan McKinney at the 16-yard line. Okay, so Bluffton has it from their own 16. That was a 33-yard punt, no return. 3:31 left in the third quarter, so Franklin had the ball there for nearly 3 minutes. "24 first downs in this game for Franklin, 3 for Bluffton. 23 minutes for possession for Franklin, 17 for Bluffton. Throw out, new quarterback in the game for Bluffton. Catch was made by Deshaun Bonte. And the new quarterback for Bluffton is Blake Rhine. Second down and 1 after that 9-yard reception. Rhine. Inside handoff. Nice move to get around that tackle by Todd King Jr. Todd King Jr. with a little spin move there to the 31-yard line. And Bluffton moves the chains. Of course, if you're Franklin, you love that play call. You'll go ahead and take that anytime you can get it. And you're up by 39 points. Rhine, back to Todd King again. King motors his way ahead to the 33, gain of 2, second down and 8. Good tackle made by Franklin's defensive lineman, Jacoby Shook, sophomore. 5th play of the drive coming up here for Bluffton. Their only score of the day has been on a Montez Archer 72-yard kickoff return. Their offense has not been able to get much going. Delay handoff. And again, Franklin fine with that. To the 37-yard line, gaining 4. 3rd down and about 6. Third down and about 4, rather. They've gained 6 yards on those 2 plays with the King carries. 90 seconds left in the third quarter. The other thing that's nice about this, especially for Franklin, not only are you up by 39 points, you're getting to rotate a lot of guys in and out that wouldn't normally play. Nice to get that in a conference game, especially some young freshmen. And here's Todd King again on third down and short. Does not reach the 40. And also Shea McCrath hit him. 2-yard gain. And it's 4th and about 1.5. Bluffton's got to run at least one more play before the third quarter ends. They trail 45-6. Bluffton calls timeout. Their first of the half. Here are some of the other individuals who have stepped up big for Franklin today. Derek Thompson, 5 carries for 51 yards, got 50 on that one play. Spencer Wright, when he was in at quarterback today, 6 carries for 41 yards. Cam Johnson, 7 carries for 34. In the receiving department for Franklin so far, Dylan McKinney, 5 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. Garrett Cora has a 38-yard receiving touchdown. Derek Thompson with 3 catches for 30 yards. Devin Mueller, 2 catches for 22. And as for the quarterbacks, before Dane Andrews came out of the game, he was 7 of 14 for 111 and a touchdown. Spencer Wright, 6 of 7 for 65 yards and a touchdown. And Kai Ross, as the third quarterback out there today, 3 for 4 for 10 yards. Also, let's give some love to some of the defensive players for Franklin. Tanner Swindle with 2 tackles for losses, including a sack. Dante Darden has a sack, so does Jure Ohata. And the interception by Nick Winders. Tanner Swindle also has an interception. I guess it looked like a fumble. They gave that credit to him on the stop. I thought it was a fumble, but they gave him an interception. So Todd King Jr. on the carry. I don't know that he got that first down. It's very close. They started to move the chain marker from 4 to 1. Talking about it. And if it's a stop, it means that Franklin gets the ball back. They just ruled it a Bluffton first down. Boy, was that generous. He gets a favorable spot to the 41-yard line. First and 10 Bluffton with the clock winding. Ryan, the backup quarterback, loses the ball. It goes squirting free, and Franklin falls on it. He just lost it. He was running with the football. He had all the room in the world to go with it and just lost it. And Jure Ohata picks it up. What a play by him. Franklin takes over with 7 seconds left in the third quarter. From their own 46. Kai Ross back out there. Johnson the carry on first down. Got to the line of scrimmage and not much more than that. But that does it for the third quarter. Dominance for the Franklin College Grizzlies. They outscore Bluffton in that quarter 21-6, and they lead 45-6 going into the fourth. You're watching Franklin College football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. And it's a 2nd down and 10 for Franklin to begin the 4th quarter. They have led this game from the outset. Scored a field goal on their opening drive, and it's been all Grizzlies ever since. As Kai Ross, their 3rd-string quarterback, is in the game and hands off to Cam Johnson on 2nd and 10. Johnson motors ahead to midfield for a gain of 4, 3rd down and 6. The man who makes the tackle for Bluffton, Seth Hum. Looks like we might have a Grizzly down. And this is Parker Hacker, a freshman offensive lineman. Now Parker is the backup right guard behind Adam Fry. So you've had a lot of different, substitutions that have gotten made on both sides. Both teams have been bringing out their subs really since about the midway point of the 3rd quarter when it looked like this game was out of reach. And good to see Hacker trot off the field and be okay. Got a little bit of a limp, but hey, it could have been worse. Gosh, being an offensive lineman is one of the most dangerous jobs, I tell you. You can easily have someone roll up on the back of your ankle while you're trying to block someone else. That's just one of the scariest things that can happen. Ethan Carwin is coming in now to replace Hacker. And the throw and the catch made. Nice throw by Ross out to the backup receiver, Bobby Skoggs, a senior wideout. And he gets a nice ovation from the crowd to the 44-yard line of Bluffton. That's a gain of 6 and a chain mover. They needed 4 and they got 6. Franklin now bringing back in Michael Reese, the sophomore tight end, who has caught a pass today. And also now David Carpenter. So just all these reserves getting in. I mean, my gosh, by the end of this game, Franklin coach Alan Hensel might have gotten everybody on target. Ian Syme with his first carry for Franklin on 1st down. No gain, 2nd and 10. Good tackle made by Bluffton's Latrell Tompkins. And Tompkins just getting his first few opportunities near. 13:35 to play in the 4th quarter. Johnson going wide to the left here. Syme will be the tailback next to Ross. Syme straight up the gut, taking defenders with him. He's close to a 1st down, just a little bit shy of it. 37-yard line is where he goes. And now we have another Bluffton player down. They have just been bitten by the injury bug today. And that is Littlejohn. Stacy Littlejohn, who has really had a good game for them. Now Littlejohn was not listed as a starter, but he is the backup defensive tackle to Mitch Young. Young's had a few tackles today. 3rd down and 2. Ross to Syme again. Syme delivering out some punishment of his own there on that run. To the 29-yard line, gain of 8 and a Franklin 1st down. (26 first downs in this game for Franklin to 5 for Bluffton. Snap goes high over Ross's head. He picks it up and just wisely falls on it. And the man who comes over for Bluffton, who's had a pretty good game in relief, Latrell Tompkins. That's the 2nd time I've called his name. He just comes over and touches him down at the 44-yard line, loss of 15, 2nd down and 25. It was 24-0 at halftime, and really Bluffton got the ball to begin the 3rd quarter, and they fumbled the kickoff. Franklin recovered. They went down and scored, and in the blink of an eye, it was 31-0. And to me, that really set the tone and the drive for how this was going to go for the rest of the second half. Syme again the carry, getting some of that lost yardage back to the 39-yard line, gain of 5. 3rd down and 19. And the important thing is, if you're Franklin, just keep the clock moving and grind out a victory, which will be your first conference victory. And trying to snap a 3-game losing skid, which they are well on their way to doing. They get Anderson next week. Syme. Not much. Kosikowski in on the tackle. 4th and 18, an obvious punting situation here for Franklin with 10:40 left and counting in the ball game. See what kind of offense Bluffton decides to go with as Dylan Boswell booms this one away. Bounces inside the 15 and rolls. And stopped at the 13-yard line. That is a 25-yard punt, no return. And Boswell, by the way, he has been, I don't know where he ranks in this in terms of Division III. He came into this game with 11 punts downed inside the 20. He's now at 14. I mean, that wasn't the prettiest punt, but the big thing you want to do is get that inside the 20. Actually, they put it at the 16. I thought it rolled further than that. Okay, well. 22-yard punt either way, inside the 20. That helps his inside the 20 stat line. So he's all fine with that. And Bluffton still riding the wave of quarterback for Blake Ryan. Ryan hands off to Todd King Jr. King's been the main tailback for the last couple of series. He gets to the 19 for a 3-yard pickup. 2nd down and 7. 45-6, Franklin. What a way to cap things off on homecoming. Now, 17-0 was not an insurmountable lead, but Bluffton had a turnover that led to a score, and then the turnover that led to another score after that. Good pass breakup here. That was made. That was Gervasio Mitchell who knocked that one away from Ethan Behringer. 3rd down and 8. And Bluffton needs to use a timeout. We'll take one with them. 9:34 left in the game. 45-6, Franklin. It's Franklin Grizzly football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. 9 minutes, 34 seconds still to play in this one. All Franklin leading 45-6. I'm John Herrick with you on Grizz TV. Brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Dump off in the flat to Tavares Miller. Miller not much room to run after that, but is able to scamper out of bounds at the 22-yard line. 4th down and about 5. And Bluffton's going to punt this one away. Bluffton is on their backup quarterback, that being Blake Ryan, who's a freshman. And Franklin has played 3 quarterbacks today, and both teams are emptying out their benches. Jake Baumgartner has been very, very busy punting the football. He loves to angle it to the right, and Franklin nearly blocked it. He falls down trying to draw a call that he wants, and it rolls completely backwards. That's got to be the least favorable bounce he's taken all day as the ball is down at the 32-yard line. A punt of 10 yards, and you know what didn't help that? The wind. The wind did not help that at all because it was blowing the ball back against Bluffton's direction. Kai Ross comes back out at quarterback. Syme is the tailback. Reese is in at tight end. Who else we got out there for Franklin? We got Bobby Skoggs at wide receiver to go along with David Carpenter. Syme the carry. Syme cuts back in. Just keeps on taking defenders with him. My goodness. To the 24-yard line. A gain of 8, 2nd down and 3. Play finally put a stop to by Vincent St. Anderson. Now Littlejohn is coming back in the game for Bluffton. He had been banged out. His knee was bothering him, but he's back in the game. Syme. No gain this time, and that's Littlejohn. I mean, Littlejohn has made a lot of plays like that, especially in the running game. Just has not been able to keep things going consistently, and really the secondary has not helped Bluffton today. Feels like the pass in some ways has helped set up the run. 7:25 left in the game. Syme delivers a nice punishing hit there to the 21. He needed 3. He got exactly 3. Well, at least one referee signaled for the chains to move, and then they moved it to 4th down. And we have another Bluffton player injured. This time it is, for them, Kosikowski. Now that would be a very tough loss because he is one of their starting quarterbacks who has a forced fumble, an interception, tackles for loss 2. He came in today with a second on the team in tackles. Franklin 5 of 14 on 3rd down today. Bluffton 2 of 11. Both teams have gone for it once on 4th down and made it. Kosikowski's okay. That's good to see. How's this for a disparity for you? Franklin has run 69 total plays. Bluffton 41. Three lost fumbles in this game too for Bluffton. Penalty numbers about even. Syme moving ahead from inside the 20 to the 17-yard line, gaining 4. 2nd down and 6. Littlejohn helps him up, gives a nice pat on the shoulder. Malik Eccles, one of the defensive linemen for Bluffton, just checked in. Franklin's had the ball for over 2 minutes on this drive. Want to try to cap this one off with a touchdown. Ross, after he takes the snap, he's in trouble. Ross trying to get out of it, and down he goes for the sack. Good pursuit there made by Dion Minch, sophomore defensive back, just did not quit on the play and took him down at the 22. Third down and about 11 for Franklin. 5:55 to play. Fourth quarter. What a great opportunity for all these young guys to get in. A couple other new guys just checked into the lineup. Colby West, a wide receiver. First time we've seen him today. And the new running back getting the carry this time, even though it's not going to be anything close to a first down, as Bluffton's Dominique Apigai and Latrell Tompkins make the tackle. That carry went to Zane Downing, freshman running back from Greentown. Eighth play of the drive coming up for Franklin. They've had it for nearly 4 minutes. And one of the guys helping call the plays here is Blake Shear, a sophomore quarterback from Fort Wayne who's got his headset on, helping get the play into Kai Ross. Whistle, and now what? Ross did not get the play off in time, so delay a game. Moves it back to the 31-yard line. And it's 4th and 20. But with them being so deep, they're going to go for it anyway. Ross, the play breaks down. He gets out of it. Ross fires towards the end zone, almost caught by Skoggs. But the coverage was pretty good, and it's incomplete. And good coverage downfield by Bluffton's Marcus Wood to go along with Dion Minch. So Bluffton takes over on downs. 4:30 to play in the game. And, of course, if you're them, you're just thinking about finding a way to end this game on a positive note. Their only score in this second half, and that was on a kickoff return for a touchdown. Montez Archer returns it 72 yards to the house. And that was when it was 45-0. Lake Rhine, the backup quarterback, dumps it off into the flat with a nice catch and a first down run after the catch made by Chris McLaurin, freshman tight end for the Bluffton Beavers, and now he's injured. My goodness, and he takes his helmet off too. So it looks like his knee is favoring him, and he just throws the helmet off. Injury timeout. We'll take it with him. You're watching Franklin College football on Grizz TV, brought to you by the Hubler Automotive Group. Okay, so the good news here is that McLaurin is all right. The big disparity in this game, we talked about it at the outset. Whichever team could run the ball a little bit better, because both teams had struggled running the ball coming in. Franklin was a tad bit better than Bluffton, but my gosh, they have dominated the game on the ground. Stoner back in the game at running back for Bluffton. He gets the carry, motors his way into Franklin territory to the Grizzly 48-yard line. 2nd down and 4. But now, here's the thing. 252 yards rushing for Franklin, 60 for Bluffton. That is a dominant performance on the ground today for Franklin. When they came in averaging 113. Stoner again Stoner with a nice carry. He's upended at the 44-yard line by number 44, that being Quali Kaufman, a freshman linebacker. He's shy of the first down by about a yard. Third down. 3:23 left in the fourth quarter. Ryan moves Stoner to his right. Delay handoff. He's got the first. And I think if you're Bluffton here, you're thinking about, okay, we haven't run the football well. We only average 80 yards a game. We're not going to win this game. So let's find the time here to work on the running game that we need to improve. And now we got a new quarterback in the game, it appears. Nope, we don't. That's still Ryan. Stoner still rumbling forward to the 31-yard line, brings up second and short. Kanan Stoner, freshman running back from Bell Center, Ohio. So how about Kanan Stoner today running the football? 8 carries for 26 yards. His 9th carry has to reverse field. First down to the 26-yard line. Inside 2 minutes to play. Fans making their way toward the exits. Franklin fans, a lot to be proud about. Bluffton just has had the ball now for nearly 4 minutes, and they may end up just running out the rest of this clock. Ryan just heaves it away. Catch dropped. Looked like it might get caught, but falls short at the last moment by Todrick Downer, freshman wide receiver for the Bluffton Beavers. Stops the clock at 1:31. Second and 10. Stoner pursued well, nowhere to go, buried at the 28-yard line. Nice pursuit by Braden McGowan. Correction, Bo Hess, freshman linebacker. Also Alex Coleman in on the stop as well. Third down and 11. Ryan, back to pass. Catch made, shy of the 20, and he gets inside the 20. Does Cale Lee, junior wide receiver. 40 seconds and counting. Think Bluffton might try to run one more play. They'll have to run at least one more. Play clock is slightly inside the game clock. Ryan with Stoner behind him. Fakes it to him. Rolling out. Throws back of the end zone and wide of the mark. As it bounces incomplete to Lee. That makes it fourth down and about a yard. Last play, last opportunity here for Bluffton. Okay, that was the fourth down play. I thought it was. Yep. So first down for Franklin. All they got to do is take a knee, and they got it wrapped up. What a job by everybody today. You want to talk about a collective effort, a group win, everybody contributing. This is what Division III football is all about, especially what Franklin Grizzly football is all about when it is done really well. And Ross gets to take the snap and take a knee, and that does it. What a dominant performance today by the Franklin College Grizzlies. They snap